Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Obadullah, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And you completed independent practice test number 7 and number 8. Let's see what we got.
Hi there, Michael, the founder and instructor of the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT.
What's going on,
this
man?
is Obadullah, one of your TOEFL course students.
Alright.
And in this time, I respond a question in 45 seconds.
Alright.
I was hoping if you could evaluate my pronunciation skills, give me a score,
yes,
and give me some advice.
Exactly.
And in my last practice test, I got a score of 23 out of 30. But in this time, I'd like to take a score of 25 or 26 out of 30.
It's going to be tough.
So the
You got to
question
have
is,
good
most
pronunciation.
people agree that it's important to exercise. Some of them run with...
Now when you say the word 30, 33 through, that is an interdental consonant. Get that tongue kind of between the teeth. 30, 30.
Whereas others prefer to bicycle. Which of the two do you prefer, running or riding a bicycle when exercising?
Yes.
Be sure to use details and examples to support your point of view. So the response, people may prefer that the best way to exercise is riding a bicycle, but what I think is better, that running is the best way to exercise for two reasons. First of all, the place and the area that I live is
now instead of saying for two reasons, that's very predictable, unoriginal even, try to show, I would put the two supporting points in the beginning. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you think bicycling, or how about running, is safer and less expensive. So instead of saying, well, I prefer running, I have two reasons to support my point of view, don't do that. Everybody does that. You want to be different. So you might say running doesn't cost much money and it is a safe sport relatively, therefore I prefer it over bicycling as a sport. So you say something like that, and then you have those two supporting points in the beginning, then you can move from there.
Too much crowded. So a few months ago when I was riding my bicycle, I did confront an encounter with lots of difficulties and lots of accidents.
No, difficulties, not difficult. Difficulties. So you have word stress issue with that word.
With people, with cars, with motorcycles and stuff like that. And second reason is that running is much cheaper than riding a bicycle.
I would just say there, secondly, running is cheaper than bicycling, something like that. Because
last year when I was riding my bicycle, I spent about $200 because my bicycle needed to repair. My bicycle needed to be repaired, so that's a infinitive with passive meaning. You're not going to say my bicycle needs to repair. It needs to be repaired by someone else. So be careful about passive voice with infinitives. Got to be careful. That's a language use issue. And that, my friend, just blew your 25 or 26 points on the speaking. You can't get that kind of a score and make those language use errors. You can't do it. You have to minimize those language use errors. Some special clues of riding my bicycle and finish. Yeah, you kind of crashed and burned at the end too. You kind of ran out of time and your pronunciation wasn't that great near the end. So on this one, I think you had some delivery problems, some language use problems. Organization was okay, but I think you can improve your topic statement following the suggestions I just gave you. I'm going to put you at about 2.6 out of 4, 20 points out of 30 on this practice test. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, here we go. Hi there, Michael, the founder and instructor of the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And again, I'll respond a question in 45 seconds.
Go for it.
And this question belongs to practice test number 8. The TOEFL course still. So the question is, some workers like working for a large company, other workers prefer working for a smaller company.
Okay.
Which do you like, working for a smaller company or working for a large company? Give specific reasons and examples to support your point of view.
Here we go.
So the response, I'd like to work for a large company for 2 reasons.
Nah, you're doing the same thing you did last time. Show me some originality. Show me you have a knowledge of both basic and advanced grammar. You're not showing me that the way you're beginning the responses. Remember, the way that you begin the response kind of sets a tone. So try to use some complex type grammar. Maybe an adverb clause, maybe, or an adjective clause in there somehow. Do something a little bit different than what you're doing. If you want to get the higher score, you got to do it. Now go to speaking lesson number 2. I will give you some tips in that lesson on how you can vary your sentence structure in the beginning of these kind of responses.
First of all, a large company is more reliable for people. For instance, a few months ago, a friend of mine was going to have a contract with a large company.
No, contract, not contract. Contract is a verb, contract is a noun. How about this? Conduct is a verb, conduct is a noun. So be careful of the word stress shifts with parts of speech, especially when you're moving from nouns to verbs.
He was going to tell me that a large company is more reliable for people, there are lots of facilities, and a large company...
Good word, facilities, nice.
...wants to equal its rank with the other momentous and indispensable companies around the world. And second, in large company, there's dedicated a good salary for the staff who works there. For instance, my brother worked a few months ago in a smaller company, so his salary was too low, and now he works for a large company, and his salary is too much, and that's why I would like to work for a large company.
So his salary is too much. See, that's again probably poor choice of words. You probably want to say his salary now is significantly or substantially more than it was before. But by saying it's too much, you're making a judgment about how much money he's making. You're almost saying, if I say it's too hot right now, that means I'm not happy with the heat. If I say it's so hot right now, I'm just saying it's hot, but I'm not really making a judgment about whether I like it or not. So be careful of the word TOO2. I think you're just trying to say that he's making more money now than he was in the past. You're not really trying to make a judgment about whether or not it's good or bad. You're just saying that he is making more now than before, which is why you prefer working for large companies over smaller companies. Okay, so this one I think was a little bit better, but you still had some delivery, some language use issues, so not going to get that 25 or 26. But I think it's better than the one before. I'm going to put you at 3.0 out of 4, 23 points out of 30 on this one.